I spent way too much time trying to improve my ergonomics, and in this video I'm gonna take you through my entire journey. From the very beginning, all the way to the setup I use now, where I can work for 12 plus hours every day. For those new to ergonomics, the idea is simple. Most devices aren't built for the human body. They cause neck pain, shoulder pain, wrist pain, you name it. And fixing that became my little obsession. So I am a software developer, which means that I spend most of my days in front of screens. At one point, my neck and shoulders were always sore, and I had constant headache. I couldn't even fall asleep without taking paracetamol. That's when I decided, okay, this can't go anymore. When I first looked into fixing it, I started with posture. I knew posture mattered. I just didn't know how much. Before this, I worked everywhere. The couch, the bed, random tables. Even when I worked at a desk, I was always twisted weirdly. And when I cared about my setup, it was all about aesthetics, never comfort. By the time I got into all of this, I was living in a small studio in Amsterdam. I had already moved too many times. Romania, Amsterdam, America, back to Amsterdam. So it didn't make sense to carry a full setup. I was just working off my laptop. The first real change I made was deciding to always work from a desk, sitting straight. After a week of that and way too many YouTube videos, I realized posture alone wasn't enough. So I ordered a laptop stand to bring the screen up to eye level. But then you can't type on the built-in keyboard anymore. So I borrowed one from my girlfriend. That's when I hit the next problem. I only knew how to type on my laptop's keyboard and I didn't even know how to touch type. So yeah, I had to learn touch typing. So I went and watched typing tutorials, practice every day, and slowly started to improve. But during all that, I really missed the feel of my Mac keyboard. So I started looking for one to buy. That's when I stumbled across ergonomic keyboards. I swear, it felt like finding the holy grail. All these strange split keyboards claiming to fix posture, reduce wrist pain, improve comfort. Now, there are levels to ergonomic keyboards, which I quickly discovered. The first ones I found were from Microsoft, those slightly curved, half-split ones. There are two main models, a smaller, compact one and a large one. The smaller one is actually more ergonomic for a few key reasons. Fewer keys, which means less finger travel, and no numpad. Your mouse hand stays closer, so your shoulder doesn't twist in weird ways. I mean, you could switch to using the mouse with your left hand, but let's be honest, no one actually does that. At this point, I had to understand what makes a keyboard truly ergonomic. It needs to be split, allowing you to keep your wrist straight instead of angled in. It has to be ortholinear, meaning that keys are in a grid, not staggered, so no more spaghetti fingers. It also needs to have a thumb cluster to let your thumbs do the hard work instead of your pinkies. And lastly, it needs to be programmable, so you could have layers, pre-map keys, and so on. This is where I started to realize just how deep this rabbit hole goes. I'd spend hours on Reddit threads, forums, YouTube videos comparing layouts, standing angles, firmware updates, you name it. I started noticing the flaws of normal keyboards. Keys like N, M, and P were hard to reach, and even using Shift felt unnatural. So suddenly, all of those alien-looking keyboards didn't seem so crazy anymore. At this point, I was in too deep. I had to get one, so I made a checklist. It had to be split, ortholinear, it had to have a thumb cluster, and it had to be wireless, because I hate cables. After researching for days, I narrowed it down to 4 models: Corne, ZSA Voyager, Kinesis Advantage 360, and the Glove80. Now the Corne and Voyager are small and flat, no keywell. The Kinesis and the Glove80 on the other side have that deep keywell shape that fits your finger perfectly. And guess what? The Glove80 was available in Europe and cheaper than the Kinesis. So after weeks of hesitation, I finally clicked buy. 3 weeks later and the package arrived. It looked like out of a movie. And somehow it was amazing. After 2 weeks, I could work on it. 2 more weeks later, I discovered layers, remapping, mouse control, total customization. So as a joke, I stopped using my mouse. And yeah, never used the mouse again after that. Now the final boss came. I decided to put my keyboard on a tripod so that I can angle it however I wanted. I also stopped using my laptop screen, moved fully to an external monitor, and that's how I ended up with the setup I have today. Now, this is not the end. I still have to get a standing desk, I still have to get a better chair, but I'm very happy with where I am now.